All right, we're recording.
Okay.
So this should take no more than 30 minutes, but we'll you just feel free to share any of your insights or ideas. So
Yes.
you you looked at the website, right?
Yes, I did. And the PDF.
Okay. So my first question is just how would you use Screen 360 TV yourself as a parent? How would you use it? Would you use it for your kids or just
Well, yeah. So here's fascinating platform actually. But what I was thinking is where you I would use it is I would participate with kids. So whether it be my own kids or other family members and or friends, I would encourage that if it was a movie or short story or documentary, that the parents be involved, that they actually watch it with their kids and have discussions to with them directly and or other parents of kids across the world if it's global.
so say we have an international film that you're really interested in and you would want to watch or you would want to show your friends or your kids, like you said, what else would you want to supplement the film to have you more interested in the viewing experience?
Well, I would want to know what the film is about. So what is the theme? What is the topic that could be have greater application to a particular uh, issue or a topic.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I wouldn't just want to say, hey, let's just go preview this film. I would want to be able to choose like from a menu.
Mm-hmm.
So there might be different topics, whether it be social injustice theme, which is going on a lot now, or it could be health related, like the pandemic, or
Mm-hmm.
it could be bullying, or it could be communication across cultures, like the culture map, which is learning from each other's cultures across the globe.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that answered it, but that's what I would want to be able to do. I wouldn't just, so it would be something where maybe you had similar interests where you could do, was a short story or a movie about a family or kids that struggle in school for whatever reason or what have you. And then it would be great to watch that and then hear from the kids' perspective and hear from the parents' perspective.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I don't think we've talked about the themes, but that's something I definitely would like to pursue is having different international films under different categories for people to choose from. I think that'd be really smart.
Right. I think it should be because it's just like any other topics or movies or shows. In this case, these are not real, right? These productions, they're curated, right?
Yeah, I mean some of the international films are based on true story. I mean, it's like any films on Netflix. You can have fictional films, and
Right,
there's real life films,
right.
nonfiction. But they're all international. That's what makes it different, and they're all curated with Q&As. And we're currently thinking about having a teacher package or maybe a healthcare package where there's, like you just said, a synopsis of the
A
film,
synopsis, right.
along with maybe some vocabulary, maybe some a page on the language, like a translation page, so kids or patients can follow along or have a place to doodle while they're watching. so they can create vivid memories and grow from the experience.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that would be a good way to go. Like you were thinking about, I think you should have a menu, so to speak, of themes, of selected themes, whether it be family interactions or relationships or, struggles or uh, successes, whatever it is. Think of different themes.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
And how often would you see yourself using Screen 360? Maybe once a month, once a
Yeah.
week?
Yeah. I would say once a month is reasonable. Yeah.
Okay. And then, what is the social, cultural, and educational value, and how does a system like Screen 360 TV support or distract from the necessary address of racial equality?
Well, that's a lot in that
Yeah, I
question.
know it's a loaded question. Yeah.
No, it's like what I was saying is I think it can help augment what it can do is 360. This screen 360 can elevate and create awareness. That's the most important thing is educate awareness and education. And then also it can, I think the most important thing when it comes to the social injustice piece or racial inequality or whatever you want to call it is listening.
Hmm.
And so everyone can listen more. And in
Hmm.
Screen 360, if there are various, that would be, Jack, one topic theme in and of itself, all as a standalone, right? So you just mentioned social injustice. There should be a menu of short stories or films, documentaries across the globe that deal with that. And that would be there would be I think so much interest. That's kind of the biggest thing I think right now in reading the PDF. And this was something, right, that Screen just started in 2020, right?
Well, yeah, it
So,
got incorporated in 2020, but Katie started it um, about almost 10 years ago, I think, and she's founded several festivals, film
oh
festivals
yeah, right, right,
in Berlin and in San Francisco. So she knows the impact that the global film festival has on children, and she wanted to make it more accessible through an online platform. And I just fell in love with the idea because I think not only do children love watching things, and I think it can grab children's attention, films, but I think
yes,
international films are so powerful because not everyone can buy a vacation to Vietnam, not everyone
right,
can travel to Italy, but through film, kids can learn about different cultural experiences, different languages, how people from all over the world interact with each other without having to go there. And we're trying to make it as accessible as possible and
right.
find the best market fit. And I think you're definitely onto something with.
Yeah, because I think nowadays, so if you think about it for kids, and not to again going back to the social injustice and everything, that's the biggest difference, I think, in everything you read and what you hear from black friends of mine
Hmm.
that actually say, what's different is two areas where it's different. One is youth. Young people are getting involved, and both in peaceful ways and unfortunately not so peaceful ways. That's one. And then two, it's happening everywhere. So before, it wasn't necessarily younger people, and
Hmm.
it only would happen in certain cities. So if you just took the US or even certain parts of the world. So now what's happening is it's worldwide, it's everywhere. And so I know we're talking a lot about this whole social injustice piece. But again, the films, going back to international experiences, international films,
Mm-hmm.
is I think um, it's a great way to learn and to have awareness about, what's happening in the Scandinavian countries. What about India? What
Mm-hmm.
about Asia? How do people deal? And there could be films. There are probably topics along those lines. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, that's interesting. We could just divide it into, like you were talking about, subcategories. We could
Yeah.
divide it into continent subcategories maybe, or like different places have a category, such as like Europe, and all these films are from Europe. Asia, all these films are from Asia. So then maybe you could just enter a new world. um
Right. Well,
yeah.
yeah. You could do it that way, or yeah, yeah, or you could do. And I don't know if there are. How do you people in third world countries though get access?
Hmm.
That's the part that's difficult, right? Because
Yeah.
you would want to bring that education and awareness to third world countries. How can you do that if they don't have access to online internet? So you'd have to be able to provide that for them, you
True.
know, that medium. But that should be a part of it too. Maybe you partner with with Apple, or you partner with IBM or something, and collaborate and partner with them and say, here's our concept. We want to get this worldwide in some areas to even be able to have people engage and be online, and it's a portal. They have to have the hardware to do it. So that could even be support.
Hmm. Well, yeah, one of our main targets early on was international schools, and I think most have access to technology. We're hoping, and so they could subscribe or buy a license to Screen 360 TV.
Right,
Um, but yeah, that is a great point. Not everyone has technology, and certainly people in India, when I went there, people living on the street, everyday people don't have access to technology, but maybe the organizations they're part of, if they work at a corporation, or if they go to school, or if they work at a hospital, hospitals may have um,
right.
technology. But that kind of leads into my next question, and I'm wondering, because you work in the healthcare sector a little bit, do you see a place where Screen 360 can influence lives in the healthcare industry, or do you think it should be focused? We should be focusing more on education and trying to get this into schools.
Well, I think that should be the priority, is education and trying to get it into schools. But there could be an opportunity in the healthcare arena around the pursuit of health. That's what I think about, is that if there's a focus around prevention
Hmm.
and lifestyle, that maybe Screen 360, if you looked at international films that have a lifestyle bent to them, or look at how people diet, exercise, what they do, how they live their lives. That maybe, I was thinking there could be, um, it could have application to globally. So, like, the other area I think about is like obesity,
Hmm.
childhood obesity, that theme. So if you were to think about that, it is a global um, healthcare problem, challenge. So, from a healthcare perspective, how could Screen 360 educate, create awareness by making, connecting people to various international films and areas that apply to a healthcare problem? And that could be a big one.
Yeah, that's a good. So you're thinking maybe we could curate films to fit different healthcare problems to then bring into hospitals to show patients, maybe to educate them on problems they're facing themselves.
Right, but it wouldn't necessarily, it may not be hospitals. It could be done through, now it depends. Globally, it's all different. So if you think of in the UK, in the United Kingdom, it's a national system, healthcare system. So they don't, everyone gets healthcare through the national system, and it's rationed. So
Mm-hmm.
you don't necessarily have choice. You know, you have to wait if you need a heart transplant or you have heart. You know, here in Canada is very much the same way. In the U.S., it's very different. We have choice. You have to pay for that. You know, depending on where you're at. But so it wouldn't. May not necessarily be hospitals. It could be. It could be through avenues that people get their health care. So it could be through their doctor's offices, or it could be through their insurance companies. You know, if they work, however they get their health care. So in the UK, you would want it to be directed towards the healthcare system, the national system. And there could be that example of education and awareness around stemming the tide of obesity, but also, unfortunately, cancer is a big challenge, right? That's another example. Maybe there are international stories, films that deal with how do caregivers deal with family members who have cancer, and how, and as kids, if you're a young kid, or I think of children who have parents, either siblings or parents that have cancer, how do you deal with that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that could be, you know, it just depends. I think the Screen 360 is again going back to what are the different themes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, is it supposed to be entertainment? It's really supposed to be more about education and awareness, right?
Right. Yeah. We
Yeah,
want to promote cultural literacy and
right,
create international peers for children.
right,
And I think that's interesting how you're saying we could use the platform to really show films, um, basically curate our own films around research and around mental health, which I didn't think of before because we're thinking about how can we, who's our customer base? Is it hospitals or is it different schools? But I see what you're saying where we could focus on the subject matter of the films to use
right,
that to get into different places because I think films, international films about cancer or about obesity would be very intriguing to different healthcare organizations. And if we use that as a platform or use that as a way to market it, it could be an interesting into different places.
right. And then the other is, wait, what was I thinking? Oh, is maybe advocacy groups, advocacy organizations.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're again with on the healthcare theme, if there's chronic diseases, you know, like diabetes or heart disease or deadly diseases like cancer or even cystic fibrosis, which
Mm-hmm.
I'm involved in kids and families. This could appeal to advocacy groups that support these areas, like the American Cancer Society or the International Cancer Society or the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, the CFF, or even hospice. So, again, if I think about cancer and healthcare, there's what we have right in our area, Hospice of the Valley, and they help people for end of life care, but at all ages. But again, with the healthcare part of it, it could be how do you incorporate Screen 360 to educate and create awareness where there could be um, there could be learnings from other cultures, right? On
Mm-hmm.
how do you deal with it?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's another niche is advocacy groups
Okay.
from a marketing perspective. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Where would you value Screen 360 TV? I know it's very early on, but we all have Netflix subscriptions, which is $11 per month. How much would you be willing to pay for something like Screen 360 TV, where you can get curated international films? How much would you pay? What price range would you put it in? If it's a yearly license to a school or for individual like yourself, how much would you be willing to pay to stream from Screen 360?
Well, what did you say? Netflix is how much?
Netflix is $11, close to 12 a month. Yeah.
12 a month. Okay. So and that's, you could stream anything, right? As often as you want.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Hmm.
Well, so it's hard to put the value, the part about it is the education balance and awareness with entertainment, right?
Right.
So that's what I think about is Screen 360, the TV is more about education awareness. I don't know. I haven't been able to see the films or a select part of some of the film, right? So if people are paying Netflix $11 a month for entertainment and to go into their own world, right? Or release of
Right.
every day. Whereas the Screen 360 is probably going to relate more to every day, right? So I don't know. I mean, I would say maybe half that, $5 a month or something.
Okay. Yeah. Someone I was talking to the other day said $5 seems like a sweet spot.
Yeah, I think that would be a sweet spot because Netflix has just exploded. I mean, that's actually pretty reasonable, Jack. I didn't know it was $11 a month.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
That's
not
per-
bad.
that's not bad at all.
Yeah. And our goal is to get it as accessible as possible. So I think starting cheap, to just get people using it and tinkering with it, I think would be a good option. Obviously, going too cheap would kind of cause customers to question
Right,
the value of it, but I think $5 a month would be a good start for at least individual accounts and households.
right. And then what you'd want to do early on is maybe get some clips of experiences. I think there was something I saw on the PDF or the website
Yeah.
where there were the two kids, right?
Mhm.
They showed. And I saw that, and that was great. So it showed how they became friends,
Yeah.
connecting through it. So you would want to share vignettes. You would
Uh-huh.
want to share early examples of where it was real, or how did they connect? What did they learn from it? And then how are they going to apply it? So
Yeah.
that's probably the biggest thing, you know.
Yeah.
But you also don't want it to be. I know it would go to schools and everything. I guess it would augment the normal education and everything else, right? It would
Hmm.
be it would be additive to everything else that they were doing.
Yeah. So yeah, and Katie's been trying to work on the best marketing campaigns and how to best show off Screen 360. And she did create a short piece called Finding Felix with a boy from Berlin who had a vivid memory from a movie, and she interviewed him. And that's those sorts of things are things we want to use to better market our brand. And
Right,
I was telling Katie, and I think you touched on it, how I think showing exactly how Screen 360 could change the classroom atmosphere from what it is now. I think showing the difference is paramount to getting people convinced on using it. Um,
right,
so showing maybe how a classroom was before and then how it's transformed when you introduce this to the classroom atmosphere.
right. No, that's great. But you have to, yeah, you have to show examples of that. Is there more interaction? Is there greater understanding and empathy?
Uh-huh.
Right? Are people more open and direct, transparent? Are they, again, um, yeah, like we said, empathetic and everything, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that is central. I think and we'll get more examples as we test it more, but that's definitely things we need to capture are students testing it themselves and
Right. The other thing you could think about, it'd be great to test it with like high school kids or whatever for projects. So maybe go to, high schools
hmm
and see if you could get a pilot, run some pilots,
yeah,
you know?
I'm trying to do that at MIDI right now. um
Yeah.
I reached out to the language department chair because I think it'd be very valuable to a language classroom if they are learning Spanish and you have a lot of international films from Spain
Right.
that are all in Spanish. I think it could be very valuable to that classroom atmosphere. And then I also reached out to Mr. Mahanaki, who's a religious teacher, but he also he teaches the India class for a year before going there. So I think showing films from India would be very valuable, and especially if you have maybe some language worksheets or some things that go along with each film for the students to work on.
Right. Well, you could have, Jack, for discussion guides,
Yeah.
maybe discussion guides. Don't make them too long, but 4 or 5 questions and or things to look for in the film, you know. So if Katie, if she saw these or you saw them, you previewed them, again, you would know, and also you could learn from these folks, insights, you
hmm
know.
Yep. Very good. And how would you, I know you touched on the marketing a lot, and that's basically the most important part right now as we try to find the best product market fit in this 5-day Stanford class. But my question is, how would you recommend Screen 360 to get more parents like yourself, more teachers or psychiatrists engaged with it? How do you think, how do you recommend we introduce it or we phrase it? How would you best market it?
Well, I think there are different ways to go about it. And I probably wouldn't do, just like we're doing now, Jack. I mean, I wouldn't do written stuff, hard copy, because I think it would get lost. So in terms of the marketing is the virtual world now and what everyone's doing, maybe you could do it through, these types of platforms like Zoom, WebEx, Microsoft Teams, electronic emails and messaging. The other thing you could do, I mean, I just give an example. If you're interviewing people like me, you should create a background. You should have a background that says Screen 360 and it should show it. You should have the logo, as like was on the PDF,
Mhm.
and you could have both a background and then sometimes you could actually have just a 30-second teaser, right? I don't know if you guys have that. I don't think that was on there, but remember, oh, the trailer. No, a trailer, right?
Yeah, yeah. There's a Finding
So like they're,
Feelings trailer. Yeah.
yeah, so like they have them, like you were showing me the trailer from that Netflix movie.
Hmm.
Um, but as you were doing interviews and or so one is you could do ads, you would run ads through Google, Facebook, where the people are on all the time, Instagram, especially if you want to get to the younger people, right?
Hmm.
But but also just an example is like doing this. See, you should already have that. You should tell Kate if you were doing it instead of the back in a background, you'd have screen TV, 360,
Yep, yep.
you know, and it would have the logo.
Yeah, the only reason why I don't have that is because my Zoom doesn't work with backgrounds. Otherwise, I would.
Oh,
Yeah, because
well,
we're required next week. They encouraged us to have our team logo in the background. So I got it, but every time I put it on, my face blends in with the background. So I don't know. I'll try to figure that out.
okay. This one, Jack.
Yeah.
So just give you an example. See at Vertex, what we did now, they just sent us 3 different ones, and this is called the Vertex Beaker.
Hmm.
And this one happens to say thank you in there, which I would show at the end. But what we have now is we're going to use these, and then we have a little story. It's a quick story. It's called The Beaker, and it's at our research facility down in San Diego. When you take tours through there, Brian Bear is one of our lead researchers. He loves giving tours. And one of the areas we go in where Kalydeco was discovered,
Hmm.
that was our first product for cystic fibrosis in 2012. And they have brought families through there with kids that were dying 8 years ago that are now going to college that took Kalydeco and they signed the beaker.
Wow.
So when we come through or we bring customers through, they come through and it's on the shelf and we pull it off the shelf and say, take a look at this beaker. And there's like now there's probably 300 signatures and they're of kids who came through before Kalydeco was discovered. So anyway, that's why we're doing this, Jack. We have this. Then people say, what is that? You say, let me tell you about the Beaker story. If you ever go down to San Diego, and then we've already had like Vivio is a healthcare company, a bunch of entrepreneurs, a lot of Stanford,
Hmm.
UCSF. They're over in the East Bay. We have all these guys, radiologists, and they're trying to create a niche in providing insurance. And we already have them. They said, hey, when I get down to San Diego and everything opens, we want to come to your lab. We
Hmm.
said, okay, we'll get you down there. Anyway, but yeah, you guys got to have that, create like some different ones, you know?
Yeah, that's an amazing story. I think Katie, because she has so much international experience, I think maybe if she just printed out, kind of like the beaker, printed out a poster of our logo Screen 360 and had kids who loved the application or were so influenced by an international movie, if she had kids just sign the poster with their name and maybe a nice note or what movie they really enjoyed. And she could collect all these signatures from around the world. And then maybe that could be part of a interesting campaign and
Right.
marketing, like you said, background. And then she could share the story. Oh yeah, we have that poster when we were just starting out in 2020.
Exactly. That's
And
really good, Jack.
yeah.
That's what you want to be able to do in the virtual or anything. Like if you were sending emails about screen 360, now I think about it, you could send, excuse me, a little logo
Hmm.
and or something in it, and you could even say, "Ask me about screen 360," or you have a little blurb, you know.
Hmm.
See, here's the other one, right, with the beaker, and you can see everything that's in it, right?
Yep.
Look at
Yep.
all the things. Look at all the things that are in it. the heart, just a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Lungs, see there's lungs, see how there's the the cross, the stethoscope. So in this case, and then it goes back to the story. So anyway,
Yeah, that's creative. And
yeah,
speaking of marketing, so your slogan at Vertex is the science of possibility.
yes.
Yeah. What do you think would be a great slogan for Screen 360 TV?
Let's see. Well, it's about 360 is about, isn't it about um, learning from each other, right? I mean, culturally, globally. So
Yeah.
I would think something about, I don't, because to me, 360, what does 360 mean, right?
Yeah.
Feedback. When I think about 360, it's learning and getting feedback from everyone, everywhere. So maybe it's something, I'd have to think it through, Jack. But
Yeah.
right off the top, screen 360 is, I don't know, something like um, learn from the world,
Hmm.
or I don't know, something like that. You know,
Yeah. I think the more simple, the better, right?
yeah, and it should be a real quick. You know,
Hmm. Me and Katie have been talking about it a lot, and time has come up a lot. Just time as a concept.
right,
I think we were thinking time is the only structure, and Katie has this great idea of basically Screen 360. It's just to connect people who were born at the same time, right? No matter where you are in the world, if you're born at the same time, you can be connected, right?
oh
So
yeah,
right now, someone's being born in San Jose, California, and there's also someone being born in India. But with Screen 360, they can be connected through film, which I think is cool. But um,
right, and that is the premise. So you go back where you just said connected through film. So yeah, that's how it would be because you're calling it Screen 360 TV.
uh-huh,
It's interesting that it's Screen 360 TV because it's the medium. It's really film, right? You're not
right.
gonna. So Katie came up with that. It's really film, and she did the film festivals and did a lot of that global, different parts of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I don't, it's interesting because I think of TV. When I first saw it, when I think about it, I thought of TV.
Right.
I think of TV shows, or
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was thinking another thing I was thinking about was maybe it would be better, especially if our target are kids K through 12 grade. If we have maybe shorter clips, because not everyone can sit down for 2 hours to watch a whole film. Maybe if we had 10-minute clips or 5-minute clips to better, fit the curriculum of a teacher.
Right. That's a good way to do it, Jack. And then also because you wanting to market K through 12,
Hmm.
you should think of some of them should be animated films.
Yep, yep.
So
I
maybe
we
she already has that, but
Well, we were just talking. Katie's sister is a second grade teacher, and
yeah,
I brought up the idea of, okay, maybe shorter clips would be better in a classroom setting because she's used Brain Pop before. I don't know if you know.
yeah, I don't know Brain Pop, but
It's
yeah,
it's an animated, basically, Khan Academy where it's animated
right,
figures and they teach the kids. And she was like, you know what? I think you're right, Jack. Maybe shorter, 5-minute clips, and
right.
definitely have some animated clips in there. So
Yep. So you'd
we'll
want to have that for the younger folks.
yeah,
And then
that's
the other thing you can think about is how do you in the films, I don't know, but how do you incorporate participation
Hmm.
in the film? So you don't just sit and watch, like maybe there's some way to make it interactive. How do you make it interactive?
Yeah, that's such a good point. And I was thinking there could be a chat box during the film, especially if you're synchronously watching it with another class from across the
Yeah,
world.
yeah,
Maybe the teacher could be chatting to the other teacher, kind of bringing in insights from the kids in both classrooms. So then you kind of get a dialogue between the classrooms.
right.
Or there's a worksheet that we supplement with each film that the teacher hands out to all her students, and the students are working on it during the film. So those are things that we're thinking about for sure.
Yeah. And you know what? What else I was thinking, Jack? I don't know. I mean, you could reach out to this person. Is Aaron Meyer, who is the person we just listened to on Friday, and you could go to her website, and I think I sent it to you. But and maybe Katie might know about her, but this is the lady that wrote the culture map,
Okay.
and then she also, was in the Peace Corps, and she's the one who interviewed Reed Hastings at Netflix, and
Okay.
she's doing this new book, No Rules Rules. But where I was going with this is she's a professor at a school in Paris. She's lived there for 15 years, born and raised in Minnesota, Minneapolis, outside of Minneapolis. But I think she could have a lot of ideas. You never know, because of the global part of this. I know she seems to be kind of corporate and stuff and what she might do, but you never know. I mean, she could be one where you reach out and just say, "Hey, I heard about you through my
Hmm.
dad or whatever." Just say, "I'm involved in an organization, Screen 360 TV, looking at education, educating people K through 12. Would love to bounce some ideas off you." You never know, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great option. I will definitely reach out to her. Is there anyone else you'd like to recommend to us to interview?
Well, I think you should, if you're thinking of like education and healthcare, I would go to Aunt Sue's,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because on the nursing end of things, I would go there. I think
Suze
that would be good.
and
And
Gina.
Gina,
Yeah.
yeah. And then I would go to, well, you're already doing it. You're reaching out to some of the folks at MIDI, right?
Yeah.
McConaughey, I mean, some of those, Monet or whatever, you know.
Ma Heineke, and then
Yeah.
my Spanish teacher my senior year, who's the department chair of
And then what about Jack going to some of the middle school? Go to Union, go to Alta Vista.
yeah, I'll go to Alta Vista and Union. I just interviewed my third grade teacher at Alta Vista, but
Okay, and then the other thing I would do is like Stratford, some of the other schools, like go to some of the schools that are K through 12.
okay. Yeah,
Harker, Harker, what's the other one? Hillbrook.
Hillbrook, the private ones. Yep.
Hillbrook right here. I know they're private, but still,
No,
most of the
yeah, because we want to target schools that will be open to paying for it. And I
right.
know it's hard for public schools. We've talked about funding for public schools, and
Yeah, you'd have to fund it.
obviously, yeah, they're strapped for money right now. So it's that's a whole nother topic. But how are schools going to pay? Who's going to pay? And for public schools, a lot of the paying comes from the teachers themselves sometimes. So
Right, exactly. Yeah.
yes, that's another interesting
Hey,
thing.
another person would be good just is like Terry Grossi.
Mm,
Because she taught and been in education. John too, but you never know how John is. But
yeah.
yeah, but Terry, she taught and she probably would have some great ideas.
Okay.
She's been involved in education her whole 30 years.
Okay. Yeah, I'll reach out to Terry too.
Just say you could give her the whole background. Take a look at this. Would love to interview you. It'd be pretty interesting.
Okay, for sure. would you like to know the outcome of this?
Oh,
How?
yes. I want to know. Yep.
Yeah.
Gotta, yeah.
Okay.
And then if there's anything else I could do, but I would reach out to those people, and then, well, yeah, I would like to know for sure.
Okay. Sounds great.
Good stuff. Maybe I'll meet Katie one of these days.
Oh yeah, she would love to. We have an interview together. She's hopping on at 3:30 with mom recommended I interview him, Damon Korb, who you
Oh,
know.
yeah, right. See, that's going to be really good.
Yeah,
Damon will be awesome because,
yeah,
that's what he deals with, kids, and he's got a huge family, and
right.
he's so creative. He's
Hmm.
super creative.
Yes,
So,
and today I was just thinking about it. All his super creative Christmas cards.
right. So
Yeah,
that's what you want to say is, Damon, I always think about you when we get your Christmas cards, you
yeah,
guys. But he's also a psychiatrist or whatever.
right,
I mean,
right.
so he's going to have some great ideas.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to hear from him. Thank you, Dad, for sitting
Okay.
down with me.
All
I,
right, Jack. Love you.
I love
Okay.
you too. I like your backgrounds.
Yeah. See, we keep it rolling. We got to keep
Yeah.
it going.
Wait, change it to the one of me in the newspaper real quick. I want to see it again.
Right. See, I was going to do, Jack, this one. I'll be my first one tomorrow. See,
Yeah, that's cool.
that's what I'm going to do with my first one. And because everyone see what'll happen. Unfortunately, I won't have Duncan this week because people are going on vacation.
Hmm.
But, I put this up. Everyone immediately, they're going to go, Raz, what is that? Who is that?
Yeah.
See? And it's a great thing. So that's why how I got that. I got it in there ready to roll.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All
Bye.
right. See you later. Have a good Sunday.
You too. Bye.